Welcome to the VCFA January 2024 graduation. I would like to read our VCFA land acknowledgement. The administrative offices of Vermont College of Fine Arts sit in Indakina, the ancestral and unceded land of the traditional caretakers of Vermont lands and waters, the Western Abenaki people. As guests in Indakina, we recognize the dispossession and invisibilization of Indigenous communities and their resiliency. We strengthen and celebrate our relationship with Indakina by honoring its past and finding our place in its future. We offer our respect and gratitude to the traditional caretakers for their stewardship by seeking to uplift Indigenous peoples, cultures, and arts. In July of 2023, VCFA held its first college-wide residency on the campus of Colorado College. This was an opportunity to reflect on our relationship to land as a college and as a dynamic community of artists and educators who now occupy 3 locations: Montpelier, Vermont, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. When in Montpelier, we are in Indakina, the ancestral and unceded land of the Western Abenaki people, who have been and continue to be caretakers of Vermont lands and waters. In Colorado Springs, we are in the homelands of the Ute people, and in Selinsgrove, we are on the lands of the Susquehannock Nation. We make these statements to acknowledge that the lands we are on have always been Indigenous homelands, and that the dispossession of Indigenous nations from their lands is ongoing. We make these statements as a reminder that we are all connected to the land, to the earth, the water, the air, and to each other. We make these statements not as an end in themselves, but as call to action that we can take to support Indigenous people and nations in our home states and beyond. As individuals, we each have our own relationship to the lands we occupy and to the Indigenous stewards of those lands. We support all efforts to continue to learn about the land we live on, the issues facing Indigenous people in our home communities, and the actions we can all take toward liberation and justice.
Thank you, Katie, for that land acknowledgement. Katie Rasmussen, our Interim Dean of Administration for VCFA. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Winter 2024 VCFA graduation here at Susquehanna University. I am your Interim President, Andrew Ramsamy, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here today. Before I begin my formal remarks, I just want to take a moment and say how much of an honor and a privilege it has been to not only to preside over this graduation, but also to preside over this winter residency. This is only the second time in the history of VCFA that all of our programs have come together to be in one place, to be in one community, and to act as one body. And I'm sure, as you'll hear throughout this afternoon and well into the evening and probably for weeks to come, the transformational experience that students have had since they've been here, as well as attending all of our residencies. So I know that I'm leaving here well pumped and energized, ready to go. I heard the word crushing it several times in several discussions. And when I woke up this morning, I said, who's ready to go and do it again starting tomorrow? There were a few people who looked at me a bit wearily and said, hope that works out for you. See you later. I'm leaving. So, but anyways, again, thank you all. I really want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who are here, who are not graduates, but our support systems, the folks that work behind the scenes to ensure that we can be here, that our students can be here graduating in this moment. So first, I want to take a moment to thank our family members, loved ones, and supporters for giving so much of their time, energy, and effort, and everything, financial aid, whatever that is that you've provided so that that loved one is now here being able to graduate from VCFA. We know that there are so many other competing priorities in the world, And when you personally make a commitment to that loved one to support them and send them here, to take time out of their busy schedules to do all of that, it is truly a sacrifice. So thank you. Thank you to our faculty. I only know what our faculty does because of the experience that I've had this week. And if this week is any indication of the perseverance, fortitude, all the tudes you can add to that, in terms of what they do, I know it is a tireless effort. I know that they are not compensated as they should be, and we are working hard to try to change those things. But in terms of our faculty, the majority of them are working professionals, the sharpest tools in their sheds, coming from their respective corners of the world to spend time with us, not only here in community, but in all the work that they do in the time that they spend with students one-to-one, over Zoom, on phone calls, on chats with lots of emojis. It goes on and on. So to our faculty, I say thank you for being here. To our amazing VCFA staff, the folks that work in over in Montpelier, to folks that work anywhere across our ecosystem supporting VCFA. You too have made this day possible, and I am extremely grateful for all of the work that you've done. As I'll share later, VCFA is in a bit of a transition, so to speak, and staff who has continued to stay by us and support us in everything that we do. This week is a complete demonstration of that commitment. And for you, I say thank you. I want to thank the staff of Susquehanna University and President Jonathan Green for truly opening up their home at a moment in which they should be closed. This is their break, and they decided to send their staff as well as others to support us in doing all of their work. They have a full job ahead of us. Now, because we're leaving, they have to kind of put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So to them, to Jonathan, and to everyone here at Susquehanna University, you have truly made us feel at home. Many people have even said that they could close their eyes and feel as if they were in Montpelier. And I think it has something to do with the snow and the cold. However, not missing hot water is something that I think people will not romanticize about. So to SU, we say thank you for everything that you've done, and to President Jonathan Green. And now the reason why we're here. These graduates. Yeah. Never have I seen such individualism ever at a commencement. Take that as you please. We come here today to celebrate your achievements. It's imperative to acknowledge the unique and formidable challenges that have marked your journey. You began your academic path in the shadow of COVID-19, a global crisis that upended the lives and transformed the fabric of our society. And amidst this, you also witnessed the changes within VCFA, including the announcement of our residency structure, a cornerstone of your educational experience. Add to this the myriad of personal challenges that each of you have faced, and it becomes clear that your path to this day has been anything but ordinary. Okay? But despite these hurdles, you have persevered. You've demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and unwavering commitment to your craft. The qualities you've owned in facing these challenges will be invaluable as you step into the world where the creative class is confronted with its own set of trials. And your determination truly deserves an honor, a round of applause. So this is where we're supposed to go. I'm gonna fire the editor that said clap there as opposed to earlier. So we'll fix that in the editing. So as you step forward today holding your degrees, you are entering a creative class that is facing unprecedented challenges. The rise of artificial intelligence presents both an opportunity and a dilemma. AI can augment our creativity, offering new tools and expression and innovation. Yet it also raises questions about the unique value of human-centered art. As graduates of VCFA, you are poised to navigate this new landscape, blending the best of both human and technological creativity. However, beyond the digital horizon, there lies an immediate challenge. The recent wave of book bans is a stark reminder of the threats to creative and artistic freedom. These bans are not just about restricting access to certain books. They represent a broader attempt to control narrative and thought. They are an affront to the freedom of expression, a cornerstone of anything thriving, a cornerstone of a thriving community, a cornerstone of any thriving society, and a direct attack on the role of artists and thinkers in challenging and reshaping societal norms. Furthermore, the need for actors and writers to strike for fair compensation is a testament to the growing pressures of capitalism on the arts. These strikes highlight a stark reality of the economic landscape in which you're entering, an environment where the undervaluation of artistic work is commonplace. It is a struggle to survive, not only creatively, but financially. So you, as emerging artists, must navigate this terrain, advocating not just for your creative rights, but also your economic well-being. The role of art in society has always been to hold a mirror up to reality, to challenge, provoke, and inspire. In times of societal upheaval, art becomes even more crucial. It helps people find their true identities and give voice to those who are often silenced. Your work as artists, writers, performers, creators is essential in fostering a culture of understanding, empathy, and resistance against forces that seek to suppress individual expression and freedom. You are the torchbearers of a rich tradition of artistic rebellion and innovation. These challenges that you face, be they the integration of AI into the arts, or the fight against censorship and book bans, or for the struggle of fair compensation in a capitalistic landscape, are the battles that will truly define us and the future of art and creativity. So as you leave VCFA, remember that your education has equipped you not just with the skills to persevere, but with a perspective of the values of creativity, individuality, and social responsibility. Use this perspective to carve out a space for yourself and for your fellow artists in a world that is rapidly changing. Stand together, support each other, and remember that your voice, your art, your vision are more important now than they have ever been. Congratulations, graduates. Truly, the world awaits you and your creativity and your passion and your courage to shape a future where art continues to be the beacon of hope, understanding, and resistance. Thank you.
There. You want to celebrate. You know what? We didn't get you any of this, so I'm supposed to tell you the same, all right? Rick. Celebrate. I got digital stuff. Man, a celebration to last throughout the year. So we don't celebrate your party with someone else.
All right.
Let's
So
all celebrate and have a good time.
flat, okay. Thank you so much, Interim President Ramsamy, Scott, Carol, Mary Kim, FJ, Katie R, Katie G, VCFA faculty, staff, students. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come here today and celebrate with you. I would also like to thank our SU president. Dr. Green is just everything. I love serving under him, and you just got a little small part of what it is to work with a true leader. Our leadership at Susquehanna University, SU faculty and staff, and specifically, I want to recognize Michelle Harmon. Where's Michelle? Jesse from IT, SU facilities, SU dining facilities. Please give them a round of applause. They made this a residency yeah, you need to stand up because we didn't know that we were going to be doing this. All right, and we did it. We did it because we love you and we stand by what you do and we know the importance of the arts. So it wasn't a big step away from us. I want to thank them because it was very beautiful for me as someone who was kind of planted from both spaces to just see how well we could work together. My name is Lori Jean Carter, and I stand before you today, an author, a professor, Susquehanna University's Dean of the School of the Arts and the School of the Humanities, and a 2010 VCFA graduate. Yes, I am. You better know it. So we're family now. Like, you can't get rid of me, all right? And in the words of the late, great master musician, Rick James, it's a celebration, creatives. All right, so we are celebrating you today, but it's a very specific celebration for me. A plan that I actually concocted 13 years ago. And I am excited to see it come to full fruition today. So you see, when it came time for me to graduate from VCFA in 2010, I just could not bear leaving. So I concocted a plan to extend my stay by applying for admission into the fiction program. Where are my fiction faculty and students? Yes, we want to recognize you. They denied me. Just so you know, I'm still a little salty about that. Okay, but we'll talk later. I don't understand how you could just cast me away, but that's fine. But that was the day my dastardly plan began. So I went back to Lock Haven University, earned tenure, became a full professor, got hired at Hampton University as a Mellon Foundation Endowed Chair of English and Foreign Languages, convinced Susquehanna University to hire me as a dean. Then I willed, where's Sasanthika? Where are you? I willed what if VCFA and SU from Hasanthika had that meeting with Connie Mae Fowler, and voila, here we are. With magic, right? So the college that said, no, you cannot stay another year, came to me. So I feel pretty good about my strategic planning skills. All right, so just so you know, I've been sneaking into workshops. I'm filling out evaluations for courses that I'm not even in. And where are Sue William Silverman and Ellen Lesser? Yes, you can expect my packet February 1st. Is it still the manila envelope stapled, pages on each page numbers and no back and forth? Good. I'll be ready. But seriously, though, I am so honored to be here sharing your graduation with you. And so I did think it would be appropriate for me to share a little bit of my journey and what got me to this space. So Next slide. Thank you, Jesse. So I wanted to start with what I carted to VCFA. So my journey begins with a PhD. I came here, I had just defended my dissertation. And rather than that joy and a sense of completion you think you would feel after earning such a big degree, all I felt was a void, because I still, even with the PhD, didn't feel like I was enough. So in that 2-hour drive home from defending, I decided I was going to go to VCA and get my MFA so I could get that feeling out of me and onto the page. I also brought with me the guilt of leaving my 3 babies in another state as I went to learn how to write life. Now, don't look too hard at that picture. That's me. All right. That's me and my 3 kids. There are 2 of my kids right there. They look just like them. Okay. So don't look too hard. All right. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I also brought the fact that I was going through a divorce. Actually, the divorce happened 10 years later, but I was going through it, y'all, just so you know. And lastly, I brought the racial realities we still carry today. The fact that my oldest son was being harassed every day in efforts to just graduate high school. And my family and I have been targeted by a white supremacist group. So much hate mail, vile emails, threats against my life, all meant to paralyze everything in me. And it did. So I brought to VCFA a woman alone, angry, afraid, searching for words in a life more compound trauma than living. Then I showed up in Louise Crowley's office because after the second day, I had already decided VCFA was not for me. And so I went in there and I told her, I need to go back home. This place isn't inclusive enough. There isn't enough opportunity for me. I miss my family. And if you know Louise, you know she's such a great listener. She said that, and you can see her here, actually. The next slide. Yeah, that's Louise. So for the life of me, I could not find a picture of Louise online. So this is the Louise H. Crowley Center, which seems most appropriate because if you know Louise, she's the center of everything VCFA, and she certainly was for me. And so I went into her room and I just said, you know, I need to go home. I believed for myself I didn't fit anywhere, so I definitely couldn't fit at VCFA. And Louise said, you know, Lori, you have every right to go home. She was all calm, all care. She let me spill all of that angst over her. And then she just asked me one thing. Can you just stay until the end of the residency? If you feel like this still isn't the place for you, we'll do everything we can to get you out of the program. But can you just stay? Can you be fully present? And can you bring that light that I see in you? And I said, okay. Next slide. 9 days later, what stood in front of me were 9 days of rigor, secrets shared, words and worlds deconstructed, views once distorted became clear on and off the page. Next was the challenge to display myself and my stories open, to invite strangers into the softest part of me, that which I'd layered with fear, with fight and rejection. By the time my first piece was workshopped in my group, all I could do was weep. My workshop leaders, Lori Alberts and Rigoberto Gonzalez, offered me a break. Like literally, it was my workshop and I was weeping. Can you imagine a workshop like that and you're trying to critique someone? And you can laugh, it's okay. I'm laughing now. All I could do was weep. And Lori and Rigoberto said, Lori, you could take a break, we could come back. And I said, no, please don't. This is exactly what I need. But what had the most staying power from those 9 days was the community I gained. The rich stories and memories we shared, fueled by hot pink Crocs, the Skinny Pancake Restaurant, General Hospital soap opera stars, writers and readers, heart surgeons, lawyers, and the governor of Vermont getting hit in the face with a cream pie. Yeah, we have lots of memories. But my favorite memory, next slide. My favorite story, and I'm gonna try to keep it together, y'all, belongs to this lady right here, Christy Bailey. I was into my second residency when I met Christy. Well, actually, I met her laugh in Noble Lounge first. It was big, brilliant, dripping in joy that I had never possessed. She'd served in the Peace Corps, ran marathons, triathlons, climbed Half Dome Trail, hiked 14,000 feet peaks. I mean, she was everything. I immediately decided I do not like her. Yes, I did. And I was even more upset. And I'm sure you all can relate to this when you kind of see somebody and you're like, we're not gelling. And then when you go to your workshop and they're sitting right there, yeah, that happened. I didn't even talk to her, but I decided because I was still hiding. As much as I tried not to love her, not to be pulled in by her, Christy and that laugh engulfed me by the end of residency. She became that family member that fit, making VCFA more home than academic program. And during my last residency with Christy, we decided we'd cart our bikes to Vermont. She was coming from Colorado. I was coming from Pennsylvania. How ironic is that? Because we both loved riding. And we would ride a trail in Vermont. So we found this like 5-mile trail and we figured, hey, we'll just ride up 5 and come back 5 and, you know, have a go at it because we just love being active. Next slide. Now, I'm not sure that this is the trail that we went on, but I'm pretty sure our legs thought it was because that's what it felt like. And Chrissy and I, we pedaled that first hill and we were like, okay, we stopped at the top. We took a breath. We, you know, off the sweat. And we're like, we got this. Then we pedaled on to the next and the next and the next until we couldn't form sentences or even sweat or even pedal anymore. Okay, and now I want you to just kind of remember that image when we go to the next slide. All righty. So this became our ride. Going up, we cadenced sugar, honey, iced tea. We cadenced that over and over again. All right. And going downhill, we were going so fast, like we were certain we were going to slam into the ground. It was just Jesus, 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 just catch us. All right. Up we sugar, honey, iced tea. Down we Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Somebody riding past us would have thought we were a gospel rap group from the 90s or something. So we transitioned from riding to walking to riding again until we got to the hill that whipped us so bad, we agreed it was time to turn around or VCFA wouldn't find us again. So you know what happened, right? Remember that picture? So when we turned around, what do you think happened? Every downhill became uphill. We were hilarious, but it wasn't funny then. It was just like, we're gonna die and in Vermont, and how much does that suck? Sorry, we love Vermont, but you do hit your governors with pies. So, all right. So once we got back to the car, we said, let's go drive the trail, which is what we should have done when we first started. But we got into the car and we started driving the trail and we're looking at all of the hills that we'd gone up and down. And we're like, man, I can't believe we made it to this one. And then we got to the one where we had turned around. And wouldn't you believe it, it was downhill from there. Exactly. We sat in that car and screamed at the top of our lungs as if we were a plane going down. Like, can you believe we turned around and we were right there? We laughed, we cried a little bit, and we promised each other that we would actually write about that experience because, wow, what a story, right? Next slide, please. We lost Christy 6 years after that ride. And I like to think that after so many up and down hills, so much endured pain and so much joy lost, retained, and shared, that Christy, with grace, courage, and light, she just kept riding until she and the road became one. But I'll never forget the lesson I learned with Christy that day. If we had just kept riding, it would have been downhill from there. That is what Christy and that bike and that hill taught me. That is what I believe Louise was trying to entreat me to see that summer 16 years ago. And after having the privilege of taking in your artistry, the exhibits that mesmerized, the musical notes that begged attention, the designs that compelled, the films that weave story, and the words for children, for adults that refused to go unheard, I could tell that many of you had kept riding when the road bid you turn around. I saw in your work and your eyes courage, joy, your families, your VCFA family. And I knew you'd made the same decision I had, to keep riding and make it downhill from wherever you were. So as I said earlier, this is a celebration for you and of you. You ones who kept riding when the concept fell apart, while families fell apart, when you got the less than stellar critique, when soft feelings that masqueraded as hard were hurt, when imposter syndrome ravaged cells and life outside of VCFA became too much with you. In fact, some of us, as we sit here today, are at the valley of something, contemplating traveling the road already traveled, turning back around, because at least you know where the hills will be. VCFA, our beloved institution, is also in that space right now. But I entreat you to remember the light we see in this we. See, it never came from one location, could never be contained in 100 buildings. That light embedded in us traveled to a place 2 times a year, year after year. No matter where you planted, light is still light. So I want to gift you what Louise gifted me when she asked me to stay another day. What Christy gifted me when she wrapped me in her joy and said, let's ride. What you gifted me as you served as a reminder for me this week to just keep riding. It's all downhill from here. VCFA and my VCFA family, keep riding. Even when rotations of sugar honey iced tea become linked with Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And remember, your lives and your art, like mine, give meaning. Remember, you provide purpose. Remember, you've ridden this ride before, and because of VCFA, you don't have to ride it alone. But most importantly, remember, and I speak from a hard-lived experience, if you get into that ride and that rhythm, and you decide for yourself, every uphill will become downhill from wherever you are. Thank you.
It's a celebration.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that memorable, wonderful journey with you. President Ramsamy, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, students, alumnics, families, and loved ones. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts degree. Will the candidates for the MFA in film please rise? President Ramsamy, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Film.
Thank you, Mary Kim. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Film with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
But there are four.
Congratulations.
Pretty remarkable, actually. I also cannot believe there's not a standardization of regalia for VCFA. This happened in Colorado too. They're like, some of you can choose.
We also, I know, have some virtual graduates. I don't know that we can see them now, but you're all in our hearts if you can hear us. Will the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Graphic Design please rise, or we recognize you in virtual space?
Yeah, it bums me out.
President Ramsamy, I present to you the
Well,
candidates for the MFA in Graphic Design.
Thank you, Mary Kim. And by the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Graphic Design with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts degree in Music Composition please rise? President Ramsamy, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Music Composition.
Thank you, Mary Kim. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Fine Arts in Music Composition with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
All right, y'all ready? Will the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts degree in Visual Art please rise? President Ramsamy, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Visual Art.
Thank you, Mary Kim. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Visual Art with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for the MFA in Writing please rise? President Ramsamy, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Writing.
Thank you, Mary Kim. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Writing with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children and Young Adults please rise? Sorry. President Ramsamy, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children and Young Adults.
Thank you, Mary Kim. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and with the authority of the great state of Vermont, I confer upon all of you the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Writing this is the one I screw up on all the time.
It's on
It's right on the
screen.
screen. Oh, look at that. The entire time. I didn't even know that. The MFA in Writing for Children and Young Adults with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all our graduates here in person and joining us virtually. You are welcome to the VCFA alumnus community. You are a credit to our school, to our programs, to the communities that you live in. Thank you, and we wish you every success, and we want you to go and change the world. At this point, we invite you all to proceed to the program graduations, and please join us back at Degenstein at 4 p.m. for the college-wide reception. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
you.